This is the McLaren F1's V12, but what the hell's it doing in the back of a British kit car? Well, stick around because this is a story you're gonna really want to know about. Yes, we're going to tell you just why there's a 6.1 litre 627 horsepower naturally aspirated V12 in the back of this Ultima. Oh wow! A story that goes back over 30 years to the birth of the McLaren F1. We'll find out why it's been built by talking to the men that made it.
It is all engine, that's for sure. You feel like you're just strapped to a rocket.
And look into every nook and cranny. It's a fascinating, complicated tale that interweaves storylines from the birth of the McLaren F1 to its famous Le Mans victory in 1995. But first, let's have a listen to it, shall we? Right, look, easy process. Master on first, then ignition on, fuel pumps 1 and 2, hear those fire up, and then the start button on this amazing V12. Can't wait, this is a special moment. Oh wow, you feel the vibration. What a noise, what a thing. Now, because this is a one-off and it is worth so much money, I'm not actually allowed to drive it today, but I know someone who is. This is Harrison Newey, racing driver, collector car curator, and the man trusted to pilot Edward today. So time to find out what it feels like when you strap a pedigree V12 into a car that's anything but. Wow! It feels like an absolute monster from this side.
Yeah, it is all engine, that's for sure. You feel like you're just strapped to a rocket.
Yes! Oh, it feels like a jelly on a plate.
Yeah, you can feel there's not much refinement in the chassis, but it is.
No.
Definitely not designed for this amount of power.
No. It's quite soft, isn't it? You've got a
Definitely
lot of lift
soft.
and a lot of dive and a lot of roll.
Body's moving as well, you can feel the chassis twisting a bit. It's,
Really? Yeah. But then that's what this was, it's like development prototype. It feels like a mule still, doesn't it?
It feels like a prototype, it does feel like a mule, but it does its bit, you know, the engine. And we have to talk about the engine.
Yeah.
Torque is off the charts.
Yeah. And it's got so much character to it, and so much. Hey. Nicely done. That engine still feels so modern and new and responsive and angry.
I mean, the minute you look at it, look at the throttle, it's just... Unbelievable.
Colin, what's it like? Happy, or do you think it needs a little bit of work?
I think it might, a little bit of refinement might go a long way. But you know what? It's not far off being absolutely perfect. I mean, that engine is...
Yeah.
Do you know what? Out of here, you can play with it, get her a bit sideways and...
Right, we don't want to overdo it in this priceless one-off, so let's take you back to the beginning. The year is 1990, and the F1's carbon chassis is still 2 years away from being finalised. But the car's engineers and designers really need a platform to test the driving position, brakes, clutch, gearbox and cooling. It needed to be light, mid-engined and able to take a big engine. A Ferrari Testarossa is briefly considered, but was dismissed as too extravagant by Gordon Murray. Instead, they buy an Ultima kit car, which is then fitted with a 454 cubic inch, 7.5 litre Chevy V8. It's a botched job, but McLaren has a running prototype to test their components. It's named Alba after the road outside the workshop the car is being built in. But there are limitations, not least the fact the V8 only revved to 5,600 when the V12 would go significantly higher. Then on the 4th of March 1992, McLaren took delivery of their first engine from BMW and put it into a new Ultima chassis, nicknamed Edward. The modifications this time were more complete and included the construction of an entirely new rear frame. Both cars continued to work hard as development prototypes until the F1 went into production. At that point, with McLaren not wanting any secrets to fall into the wrong hands, both cars were stripped, McLaren closed a breakers yard and crushed them. Now, however, Mouse Motors has commissioned Edward to be reborn, and the chap they've got to do it? Well, he has a very long association with McLaren, and his name may be familiar to you, because Paul Lanzante was the man who ran the Ueno Clinic car that won Le Mans in 1995. OK, Paul, you had a completely new McLaren F1 V12 that had never been in anything before.
I was very lucky. I pestered the hell out of BMW, and I knew they had a couple of engines left. And I just kept on and on and on. And in the end, they just cracked and they sold me one engine.
They sold it to you?
It's brand new.
Yeah.
So I just kept it and I thought to myself, this will be, it's a good investment for the future. And then John Stafford found out that I had one.
Yeah.
And he made me one of those offers you can't refuse.
And but what did he want it put in a car particularly, or?
Well, I thought he was the right owner for the engine because he owns so many F1s, GTRs, road cars and everything else. And I thought, you never know. It's a great thing to have. So we got a beautiful pack horse for it, shipped it over to America, and it was in his showroom in America.
So how come it's come back here and found out, was this his idea? He thought, I've got all the other McLaren F1s. What I need is the prototype.
Correct. So he had this crazy idea. He ordered an Ultima. And he said to me, I want to use that engine to put in an Ultima.
Yeah.
And my first reaction was, you're crazy. I said, the engine's worth 10 times more what the car would be worth. And he just, nope, I want to do it. And he ordered the rolling chassis from Ultima. And we did all the alterations on it to accommodate the engine.
Just as it was back in the day. So did you have to, when the chassis came, did you then have to cut the chassis completely? Or did you work around what you had here?
Well, it's interesting because when McLaren's bought the standard Ultima, they made a lot of alterations along this back piece to hold the exhaust on, the cross beams for the gearboxes. This chassis never had any of that. So there was tubings we had to cut out and extra tubing to put in, this extension piece here to hold the silencer. So there was a lot of modifications at the back end, and the front end we had to heavily modify to accommodate the engine mountings for the engine.
Really? And then further back here, where the exhaust comes, this is all original as it was for Edward back in the day. This is the same exhaust system.
Yeah.
And it's heavy.
It weighs a ton, but our first proposal was to have a GTR exhaust system.
Yep.
So lightweight, 2 little cherry bombs at each side here. And we thought, yeah, that fits really well. And I said to John, we're going to do it. He said, no, I want the big, ugly box on the back of it, and I want a full silencer. And luckily, I had a silencer.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
So you've got some old parts from McLaren F1s from back then?
Gordon Murray accumulated, I don't know how, we won't ask questions, accumulated quite a big pile of spares for his XP car.
Yeah.
And he just rang me up one day and said, Paul, would you be interested in buying all these spares I've got? So I went in there, made them an offer, and amongst that was this silencer.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. But it's got a cut line, it's got a weld line along the back of it. How's that come about?
Gordon had this on his XP road car, but the actual road car is very quiet. So they cut a big hole in the silencer, took out the baffles and made it like a straight through to sound louder.
But with the original box still?
With the original box, yeah.
Which I see he's got a BMW plaque and part number on it.
Correct, yeah.
So the whole system came from BMW?
The silencer system came from BMW. We made these.
Yep.
The primaries we had to although the engine, when I sold it to John, did have primaries on it, but they wouldn't fit the car. So we had to make new primaries for it. And instead of they would have had catalytic converters here, and we're not running catalytic converters.
Yeah.
So we made them so they look like a cat, but they're not a cat inside.
Right, okay. Yeah. But it's so intricate, isn't it, the exhaust system and how it's all...
Oh yeah, it's a bit of a pig to get in and out.
I bet it is. And how much work did you have to do to sort of suspension and things? Have you done any setup on it, or?
The suspension the design is original. The only thing we found that the springing was a bit soft and the ride height was a bit low. And I only did maybe 25 miles on the road, and we raised the ride height. We set it up a little bit, but we didn't reinvent the suspension. That is all bog standard.
But to do this car, to recreate Edward from back in the day, what were you working to? Did you have a set of blueprints for it, or was this literally just off images?
There was a couple of people that I know that seem to have some photographs, original old black and white photographs that they took at the factory when they were building it.
Yeah.
So there was little details like the way the rear exhaust was mounted. We kept thinking, how do they mount it? How do they mount it? Because none of this was there on the chassis.
Yeah.
And this guy came along and said, I've got a load of pictures. Would you be interested? And there's little details we were fortunate enough to copy from those photographs.
And then just had to go, well, we think this is how it must have been done.
Yeah.
How much of a nightmare was it?
Oh, horrible.
I'm not surprised in the least. It looks like such a botched together job.
No, but to be fair, as an engineering exercise, it was quite interesting.
I bet.
It was challenging. You know, you think you're just going to bolt this engine in. No, it's not that simple.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. How long did it take?
Oh, I think we've had this car in our workshop for well over 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece in so many ways, but I think it's so exciting that this car has been recreated and given another shot, and you've given a home to this incredible engine.
Yeah, no, it's terrific.
Yeah, brilliant. That's really cool. I think what a thing. What was the most difficult bit to do on it? Was there
the front engine mountings?
Just getting all of that in it.
Yeah.
And how about cooling and everything? Because this was what the car was testing, wasn't it, back in the day?
Yeah, the cooling, when we got the rolling chassis, it had two small they were tiny.
Yeah.
Like a V, one here, one here. What we did, we measured the physical size of a GTR radiator, and then we joined them together, and we made the radiator that equates to 2 GTR radiators,
right?
Sloped at a real steep angle and put massive fans on it. And as you saw today, the water cooling's perfect. It's really good.
It's really impressive. I guess the packaging in the front's quite tight as well.
It is.
Yeah. And
very
it's such a nightmare to get the front panel off. We're not going to bother.
The funny thing is, when you're nearly there and you come to do that last little bit, you go, oh God, that doesn't fit because of this, and we did this, and then we have to undo so many other things to make this bit fit. It's a jigsaw puzzle. Yeah.
Great. Going to be sorry to see the back of it when it goes off to its home?
I can't wait to see it go.
Brilliant. Paul, thank you so much. That's been fascinating. Paul might be glad to see the back of it, but there's something wonderfully circular about bringing a one-off icon back from the dead, even if it doesn't have a job to do. The original was a workhorse. This one is a show pony. Nicknamed the Plastic Pig, it's ugly, it's raw, it's ramshackle and basic. Still, a previously unused McLaren V12 now has a place to call home.